What's going on, guys? We got ourselves another video today, and we want to talk about the aftermath. Week 4, Seattle Seahawks coming into Detroit Lions, Ford Field, Monday night madness, the showdown. Both teams coming in at one team coming in at 2-1, Detroit, and the Seattle Seahawks were 3-0 at the time. Both teams ended up 3-1 on this. Detroit Lions win this one, 42-29. It was another kind of Detroit Lions, Seattle Seahawks shootout at Ford Field. The Lions, they win this football game with some timely stops on defense. Another, and obviously some offensive outbursts on both squads, and kind of like the outbursts that the Detroit Lions were kind of waiting for, the kind that we needed. But let's talk about the injuries. Let's get to the game. Let's talk about this right now. Injuries, and some inactives. Obviously the Seahawks, man, they had a lot of their defensive front were out. I think it was a total of 5 starters out on that defensive front right there. Because I think a linebacker, Jerome Baker, did end up missing that football game. So that defensive front was decimated. We had some injuries too, and they did lose safety Julian Love during that game with the thigh injury. He left. Then the Lions, they had some, we had some injuries too. No Brian Branch, Davenport done for the year. Ragnow, our top center, one of the best centers in the NFL today. And we had some guys, but during that game, stayed relatively healthy. It seemed like, I was at this football game, like I said. Didn't really see a lot of guys coming out the field too hurt. Obviously you're going to see guys limping and stuff like that, but nothing too serious. But let's get down to the stats. But first, let me start off again. The reason why I'm doing this video a little bit later on a Wednesday instead of I normally do it on the Sunday, then I do it on the Monday, or if Monday night I do it on the Tuesday. I lost my voice. I absolutely lost my voice for this football game. Still kind of getting it back. Obviously, I probably could have done it last night or yesterday, whatever, but I was still feeling it too, and I was hurting too, man. I tended to drink a little bit too much on that Monday nighter, man. Tailgated, and it was just crazy. It was a great time. Tailgated in the Eastern Market, Shed 5, big promotion, all kinds of food, all kinds of booze. It was just nuts at the Eastern Market. It was a fun time, and I was feeling it the next day. So I just kind of sat back, said I'll do this on a Wednesday. I'll do it Wednesday, so which is good. You know what I mean? They won, so it's not that bad. But let's start with the stats. Well, we'll do the Seahawks first because they are the road team. That's how we do it here. Quarterback Geno Smith, 38 for 56, 67% completion percentage, 395 yards passing, touchdown. Only 1 touchdown, which is crazy. Did throw an interception at the end of that game, and he was sacked 3 times. Geno doing this thing again, man. We just there's seems to be this thing going on with Geno Smith that we have trouble stopping him. He was excellent. Didn't throw a lot of touchdowns though, but he was excellent. Lions did make some timely stops, like I said, on defense. Got gashed, overall I thought they got gashed, that defense, but they did make some timely stops. Not trying to sugarcoat it or anything, because they weren't very good. There were some good moments, but they did get beat up, that defense, our defense. And so did their defense too. So it wasn't a very defensive game. It was a great game to go to, man. You know what I mean? 52, 62, 70, 71 points scored, man. You can't go wrong there. And then running back Kenneth Walker III was 12 for 80 yards on 3 touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns, 6.7 yards per carry. He was unstoppable. Quarterback Geno Smith did have 5 carries for 38 yards, 7.6 yards a carry. That's not bad for a mobile quarterback. He's not going to be running all over the place all the time, Geno. But he has some mobility there. And then running back Zach Charbonnet only had 2 carries for 15 yards. He caught some balls though. 7.5 yards a carry. They had 133 yards rushing on the ground totally, and it was it wasn't the greatest effort defensively for the Detroit Lions stopping Kenneth Walker, who seems to be another guy that kind of has our number as well too. So it was a rough day for our defense. And then receiving wise for them, wide receiver DK Metcalf had a nice day, 7 catches for 104 yards. He did have a fumble lost though, on a nice play by Jack Campbell. We'll talk about that. 14.9 yards per per catch, 12 targets. Wide receiver Tyler Lockett was 5 for 61, 12.2 yards per catch, 9 targets. Wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba was 8 catches for 51 yards, 6.4 yards a catch, 12 targets. They were trying to get him the ball, just like DK. And then running back Zach Charbonnet had 5 catches for 39 yards, 7.8 yards a catch, 5 targets, caught all 5. Another running back, Kenneth Walker III, 4 catches for 36 yards, 9 yards a catch, 5 targets. And then tight end A.J. Barner had 2 catches, 27 yards, and a touchdown. He had that lone touchdown for the Seahawks through the air, 13.5 yards a catch. Didn't write the targets down for some reason. I think he had 3 targets, 2 or 3 targets. I don't know why I didn't write that down. But 395 yards, total receiving for that receiving core, that whole unit, with Gino and his weapons there. So, man, it was a rough day for that Lions defense on the ground and through the air. Defensively, linebacker Tyler Dodson, 10 tackles, tackle for loss. Linebacker Tyrese Knight, the rookie, that had 9 tackles. I think he pretty much subbed in for Jerome Baker. He had a pretty decent game. Safety Rayshon Jenkins, 5 tackles. Defensive tackles, Jaron Reed, he had 4 tackles, tackle for loss, quarterback hit, and a sack. Linebacker Derek Hall, 4 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, a quarterback hit, and a sack. And then defensive end Draymond Jones had 2 tackles, tackle for loss, quarterback hit, a sack that turned into a safety. Right there for that defense. Their defense, like I said too, man, their defense struggled as well, on the ground and through the air, and we'll talk about that too. Now let's get to our Lions offense. We start the offense. Quarterback Jared Goff was 18 for 18, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got sacked, I believe, 3 times. 100% completion percentage. He had 155.8 passer rating. Almost a perfect game. I think the perfect game is 158.3. You didn't get it because of some touchdown to incompletion, like some touchdown to completion ratio. If you would have threw 2 less passes, he would have got it. If you would have thrown 1 more touchdown, he would have got the perfect passer rating. Whatever, man. It's a flawed stat. Goff was anything. He was spectacular. He was great. You can't even say anything bad about Goff on this game. You can't even try. He had a great game. He had a 16 or 17 yards per throw. Turned out like that. He didn't throw a lot of deep balls. I only think he threw deep maybe once or twice, or like 20 yards and over. He might have not even thrown the ball 20 yards and over. He didn't go deep a lot, man. If he went 20 yards, it was once or twice. You know what I mean? That's considered a deep pass in the NFL. But he was nothing short of spectacular. He was great. He had a great game. It was a perfect game. It was a perfect game. He was excellent. And then wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown was 1 for 1, 100% completion percentage too. 19 for 19 in a day by both guys throwing the ball. The ball didn't hit the ground, I don't think, even once for Goff, because 18 for 18. But even he did have 1 incompletion, but it was a penalty, so it didn't count. But when the ball don't hit the ground, that's a nice day. But Amon-Ra St. Brown had a touchdown throw, one for 1, 7 yards, touchdown. So over 292 yards throwing the ball for the whole unit. And it was a special day throwing the football. Records were broken. And it's never been done before for Jared Goff, so congratulations. I think the first guy that ever did something close to that was Kurt Warner, but he only did it on 10 completions. He went 10 for 10. Goff was the first one to do it ever over 10 yards and over 10 completions and 15 completions. So he was 18 for 18, which is just spectacular. And then rushing the football, running back Jahmyr Gibbs was 14 for 78 yards on 2 touchdowns, 5.6 yards a carry. He was excellent again, looking more and more explosive every week. The running back David Montgomery had 12 carries for 40 yards, a touchdown, 3.3 yards per carry as well. He was running the ball super hard, and we'll talk about the receiving in a minute, what he did. And then quarterback Jared Goff, man, had he rushing the football. He had 2 carries, -2 yards, -1 a carry, but over 116 yards rushing the football. Again, a very productive day for this rushing unit. Over 100 touchdowns galore, 3 on the day, just getting the job done, doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then receiving-wise, wide receiver Jamo, 2 catches for 80 yards, touchdown, 40 yards a catch, 2 targets. He didn't get a lot of looks. He did 1 big catch, was over 10 yards. The big 70-yard touchdown run on kind of a slant crosser coming across the middle. Goff hits him over the middle. Corner is supposed to be with Jamo. Jamo he runs right through his face, runs right through him. Guy just looks at it. He didn't even know what to do, man. In the corner, he tried to run after him. It was all for naught, man. You're not catching that kid. That kid can run. That kid can run. You got to give him the ball a little bit more. Don't need to force things, but it's nice. And then he did a dunk on the goalpost. Jamo, a tribute to Calvin. It was a Calvin Johnson day. He was going up in the Ring of Honor, I believe it was, whatever they call it. I don't know what they really call it. I think they call it the Ring of Honor. And it was a really cool tribute. Got flagged for it. Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of joking around, saying stuff like he doesn't like to celebrate with his teammates. It's like the second, third time he's done that this year. And they say that he said that they're going to fine him next time. Him and Dave Montgomery will be sitting there watching him go, what's this kid doing? He's got to celebrate with us. I think a lot of it's jest, a lot of it's play, a lot of it's playing around. Some people think it was serious. That St. Brown came out on a podcast with his brother saying that he's really mad at Jamo. I think he'll probably get fined by the team. By someone like St. Brown. They do a thing called kangaroo court. If you played football, it's a big thing. Kangaroo court, it's where you do stuff either off or on the field, on or off, it doesn't matter. And they'll have a kangaroo court. And they'll do like one of those gladiator type styles, like either thumbs up or thumbs down. Like a thumbs down means you're either paying, in the NFL they go by fines, so they're probably going to have to, they probably pool some money that they gather at the end of the year, probably throw a party. That's what they probably do. When I played, it was like you do laps, or you have to buy a round of beers for your unit or something like that. But that's what it probably is. I don't think it was dead. I don't think he was dead serious. Some people think he was very serious about being mad at Jamo. I don't think that's the case. St. Brown likes to really trash talk. He's a bigger trash talk than people think he is. And he probably gets into his players a lot, especially his own wide receiver room. He probably runs that room, like a well-oiled machine, and he probably just gets in. He probably just gets on guys, and Jamo's probably one of them. They probably mess around with him a little bit, but when it's all said and done, scored touchdowns. Jamo, dunk on goalposts. Who cares? You got money, pay that fine. Then tight end Sam Laporta, 4 for 53, 13.3 yards a catch. Looks like he's starting to get a little bit going right there. Not the greatest output you want from Laporta, but he made some big catches, made some clutch catches. I thought Brock Wright did too as well. Him and Wright and Raymond had a catch each as well. So the tight ends are starting to get used a little bit more. 4 targets there. Wide receiver Tim Patrick, 2 catches for 52 yards, 26 yards a catch. Made a couple nice clutch catches right there. 2 targets, starting to get more involved, which I like to see as well too. And then wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 catches for 45 yards. A beautiful toe tap touchdown in the corner of the end zone, right on the front of the end zone, right there at the post, kind of, at the pylon, whatever they call it. And then just a beautiful toe tap. And him saying he's never done a toe tap before, which I find is weird. I could have swore he's done it, but he said it was his first toe tap of his career, and he said he wanted to get that out of the way. So there you go. 7.5 yards a catch, 6 targets, so he caught everything. Not big in the yardage department, but he came clutch, man, with 2 touchdowns, and he threw with 1 touchdown and throwing 1 too as well. And then running back Dave Montgomery on the 1 catch for 40 yards, a catch on 1 target. If you've seen this run, look it up. Google it, YouTube it, even better. Do it. David Montgomery catch and run versus Seattle. Google that. He absolutely destroys a cornerback. I don't remember who the cornerback was. There's all kinds of video out there of it. It was either, it could have been Devin Witherspoon. I think it was Devin Witherspoon. He just annihilates. He annihilates him. Catches the ball, kind of like, it's a pass out to the flats. It looks like it's going to be a stop for maybe a yard or two gain, if that. And he just literally, they come at each other, and Witherspoon tries to lay the lumber on him, and just gets folded like a lawn chair. Boom! He just gets crumpled. And then Montgomery bounces out, keeps his balance, gets hit, gets almost dragged down, puts his arm down, pushes off, not falling. He's kind of stumbling, keeps his balance, and just kind of like runs for 40 yards. And then stiff arms another guy just before he goes out of bounds, kind of shoots that guy back. It's just Montgomery is having a fantastic year so far. He is having a great year. He is a hard man to take down. You can just see it. You can tell that guys just get up and they just, man, they kind of shake themselves when they got to tackle him, man, because he's just so strong. He's 234 pounds. He's just a brick shithouse, man. So it's a good run. Google it if you can. And then quarterback Jared Goff with the one catch for 7 yards and a touchdown, 7 yards a catch, obviously one target on a beautiful little, they pitches it to kind of Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown kind of like lackadaisically, if that's a word, kind of goes out to the flat. Looks like he's going out on a sweep. And looks like he's got protection there too. There's all kinds of old linemen out there. And they're extremely smart. They don't go downfield. They just kind of stay there. And it looks like it's going to be a big gain or a possible touchdown. He just turns around. Jared Goff kind of swings over this way. Linebacker kind of sees it too late. He tries to catch up to Goff. It looks like it took forever to develop, and just like Amon-Ra throws a beautiful breadbasket throw, just like a rainbow. Just goes right over the linebacker and right in Goff's hands, and he catches it for a touchdown, and he launches it right into the stands. It was great, man. 299 yards receiving there, so all together. So it was a very good. It was a very good play with the Goff and St. Brown, and then the defense. Free safety, Kirby Joseph, 9 tackles, tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and a big interception at the end. That's 3 interceptions for Kirby in 4 games. Cornerback Amik Robertson, 8 tackles, 2 pass deflections. Linebacker Jack Campbell, 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and a nice forced fumble. Jack Campbell's getting better. Linebacker Alex Anzalone had 7 tackles, pass deflection, 2 quarterback hits. Cornerback Carlton Davis III, 7 tackles, tackle for loss, 3 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery that he almost scooped and scored on the DK Metcalf fumble that Jack Campbell did, and almost ran at 40-50 yards for a touchdown, but he got stopped. And then Brandon Joseph that came in because no Brian Branch who had 6 tackles. Linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez getting better, 5 tackles, tackle for loss, 1 quarterback hit, and he had a sack. Quarterback, the rookie, Terrion Arnold, had 5 tackles, pass deflection, still too handsy, a lot of penalties on Davis, on actually Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold in this game. Carlton Davis going after the referees after the game too. Got to be a little bit better. We've had a lot of penalties so far, man, early in this season, and those guys were very, very physical and very handsy this game, especially Arnold, man. He's got to get better. But I didn't think overall they had a horrific game. They didn't have a good game. I don't think they had good games. They did well on some individual matchups, but overall it wasn't a very good game for just this whole defense. And then defensive lineman Levi Ruzurique still playing well, 3 tackles, quarterback hit. He had a half a sack. He's got like maybe 1.5, 2 sacks on the year so far. So man, he's starting to ramp it up a little bit too. Defensive tackle Lee McNeil, 2 tackles, pass deflection, quarterback hit. He had a half a sack as well. Nose tackle DJ Reader, a tackle, 1 tackle for loss, quarterback hit. He had a sack as well. Defensive end Aiden Hutchinson kind of kept off the scoreboard, didn't have any tackles, no pass deflections, nothing like that. But he had 3 quarterback hits. He had 10 quarterback pressures. That's one thing, if he's going to be kept off the stat sheet, he's going to be kept off the stat sheet. He's going to find his way on the stat sheet somehow. The quarterback hits and the pressures, they do count. And he was in the backfield all day. They kind of almost had that same kind of mentality the Rams did. Geno Smith and that offense, trying to get the ball out as fast as they can. Guys like DK and Lockett, their tight ends, they use their tight ends a little bit too. The Seattle Seahawks, they didn't throw the ball downfield too much either. It didn't feel like, if they did, I don't really recall. But it didn't seem like they were trying to go too deep. And if they did, I either missed it or I forgot. Like I said, when I'm at these games, I'm not bringing out the notes, and I'm not doing intense study. And I had a chance to rewatch this game actually yesterday, but I watched the Tigers instead. And by the way, Motor City Tigers, Detroit Tigers, advanced into the American League Division Series. I'm going to play the Cleveland Guardians now in round 2. Just beat the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros swept them. It was the best of 3. Beat them twice. That's fantastic for Detroit. Fantastic for the Detroit Tigers organization. It's good all around. So, the youngest team in baseball. Good job, Detroit Tigers. Get to the second round. Let's go beat those Guardians. Beat Cleveland up. And then Bates had 6 for 6 on extra points. I don't think he even had a field goal attempt. Don't think he had a field goal attempt. And Seattle did have a field goal attempt. They kicked a bunch of extra points as well too, 4 or 5, whatever it was. And Myers did miss a field goal though. He did. I don't remember how long it was, but he did miss it. Let's talk about some team stats, guys. We're trying to get this done really fast, and we're talking too long. I'm already at 22 minutes. First downs, we'll go Seahawks. They had 38. Seahawks, third down, they were 5 for 10, 50%. Fourth down, 1 for 2. Rush yards, they had 133. Pass yards, they had 383. Total yards, 516. Sacks and yards, they had 3 sacks for 26 yards lost. Interceptions thrown, they threw 1. Punts and average, 3 punts, 44.3 average. Penalties, they had 9 for 70 yards. Fumbles lost, they had 1 and 1. So 1 fumble, 1 lost. Possession, 34 minutes and 4 seconds. The Detroit Lions only had 21 first downs to their 38. We were 3 for 6 on third downs, both at 50%. Fourth downs, we didn't go for it once. Rush yards, 116. Pass yards, 273. Total yards, 389. Sacks and yards, three sacks for 12 yards lost. Interceptions thrown, Goff threw 0. Punts and average, 3 punts, 46.7 yards per punt. Penalties yards, we had 12 penalties for 101 yards, way too much. Fumble and fumble lost, 0 and 0. Possession, 25 minutes and 56 seconds. So, this was a game that, that I thought was, our offense was fantastic. Our defense did not play well, but we played well, made plays. A little bit later on in this game, had a nice 21-7 lead at halftime, and then third quarter, they scored a touchdown right off the bat. We score, we answer, they score a couple, they start making close, we score again, back and forth a little bit. We made a couple stops, then we started to run away with it a little bit and ended up winning the game by 11, 12, 13 points, sorry. So almost 2 touchdowns. It was a very, very close game. This was a good football game. Like I said, our offense, I thought, played exceptionally well the whole game. Goff was fantastic. You can't even say anything more about Jared Goff right there. He was perfect. Jared Goff was perfect. Running game was on point. Another 100+ yards between both our guys. Scoring touchdowns too. Scoring touchdowns is humongous. That's exactly what this team needs to do. And they scored 3 touchdowns between our running backs alone, which is excellent. And then receiving, Amon-Ra did his thing, wasn't big in yardage, scored a touchdown, threw a touchdown. Jamo with the big play. Tight ends getting in the mix a little bit. Looks like we're starting to find maybe our wide receiver 3 in Tim Patrick. Offense is clicking at the right time. Hopefully it can continue. We're going into bye week. It would have been nice to play another game, I think, and then get the bye, or maybe a couple games and then a bye. This is an early bye, but we got some guys banged up. We should be coming back even more healthier, in week 6. So I really liked what the offense did. Defensively, like I said, we had a little bit of a down game. Couldn't stop the run that well. Gave up a bunch of touchdowns, like three touchdowns on the ground. Only gave up 1 through the air, but a bunch of yards, almost 400 yards through the air. But made some timely stops. Like I said earlier, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, but that's what we did. Made those stops at home like you're supposed to. And what you're supposed to do at home is you're supposed to score a lot. And that's what we did. This is a team, the Lions, that we had some injuries coming into this game. With Ragnall being out, Branch, Davenport, those guys, I think on defense, and we prevailed. Now they had guys out too. I'm not gonna deny that, man. They had 4 starting defensive linemen out, another linebacker starting in Baker, who missed this game as well too. Lost Julian Love, so they had some things going on too. But hey, man, it's next man up mentality. It's the NFL. Anything can happen, and we did what we're supposed to do: put a bunch of points up, and that's what we're supposed to do, and that's what we did. So, I really liked what the Lions did here. In this football game, it was one of the most entertaining games I've been to. When you're sitting there and you're watching teams score almost, 52, 62, 72, 70 damn points. When you're seeing 70 points out there, it's entertaining. It's extremely entertaining, and that's what it was. That's what it was. And timely stops, and then putting the ball in the end zone for the offense, and that's what equals success. So that's it, guys. 3-1 on the season. Bye week coming up. Week 6, we go to Dallas. 4:25 start, playing against the Dallas Cowboys. Our next 5 games, 4 of them are on the road. So they're going to have to, buckle down. We got some tough matchups coming up. We got the Cowboys, and I think the Vikings. So we got some teams coming up that are really going to need to buckle down and win a couple of these games, man, and start taking control, because some of these games are going to be hard. So that's it, guys. Thanks for coming out. We're going close to 28 minutes. We'll hit that, maybe, not too sure. 27 minutes, almost 30 seconds. So thanks a lot, though, guys. Don't forget to hit the notification, the subscribe button first. On the bottom right, don't forget to hit the notification bell up top. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Big victory, guys, going up 3-1. Get some rest coming up in the bye week. Excited. Detroit Lions versus everybody. Grit, let's go. Boom.